Italian pizza is the best. Come on.
Mm.
Here, I had guys ask me to be a couple the first date or the second date. It's so easy to say I love you.
Really?
They don't mean it. They don't mean it. Like the best looking Korean and best looking Italian.
Just the appearance.
I'm scared to answer this.
Welcome back to K-Talk Studio. Today we have Soraya Pernetti.
I'm Soraya from Italy and I'm 30 years old and I came to Seoul 5 years ago. I'm now working for a Korean company and I studied in Yonsei University for my master's degree.
Thank you for coming. And since you're from Italy, and Italy is known to have the best cuisine, I think a lot of people say their favorite food is Italian, right?
Yeah.
Are you proud of that?
I am.
Yeah. So we prepared pizza.
No.
Okay, so what do you think about Korean pizza?
Like this?
Yes.
It's a good copy.
Yeah?
I mean, it's just a copy. It's not the same thing. It's
Right.
another thing.
So you would still prefer to have Italian
Yes.
pizza?
Italian pizza is the best. Come on.
Let's cheers.
Cheers.
How good are you at drinking?
I'm good at drinking wine.
Of course, it's Italy.
Well, the stereotype is true. For soju, I would say 3/4
3/4 of a
of a
bottle.
bottle. Yeah.
But how many bottles of wine can you drink?
Almost one bottle. If I'm eating at the same time,
Yeah.
and then I'm tipsy. I'm super tipsy.
Do you ever
Still,
go beyond that?
Not these days. The drinking culture is more focused on the quality than quantity. And this thing about getting drunk is not a thing. It's actually perceived as very badly to get drunk in front of other people.
Oh, wow,
It's
really?
not. Of course, some people do, especially young people.
Uh-huh.
But compared to Korea, it's not normalized at all.
But when you first came and started drinking with your colleagues, how did you feel?
It was fun, but the hangover part was not fun at all.
Since you're from Italy, and Italy is the biggest producer of wine, what is your favorite wine?
Primitivo is my favorite. It's a red wine, very strong, but it's the aroma and taste is very, very nice. It's very deep kind of wine.
All right, let's dig in. Okay, so let's start with some misconceptions about Italy or Italians.
Well, you said one actually before. When you said about Italian cuisine, you said pizza and pasta.
Right.
In general, foreigners think that's the only Italian
Right,
food
right,
we
right.
have. But actually, we have 100 dishes, and like every region have their own dishes.
Right. You have a lot of Mediterranean food too.
Right. We don't live off carbohydrates, trust me. So I think that's one of the things. I don't eat pasta or pizza every day when I'm in Italy.
In Korea, we prepare like a table full of food with a lot of banchans and soup, rice, everything. But in Italy specifically, you have pasta or pizza, salad. That's it, right?
If you eat pasta or pizza, that's the main thing usually. You don't have any other thing around.
No pickles or anything, right?
No. No pickles.
What would you say your favorite food in Italy is? If you have to live the rest of your life with one kind of food.
I love desserts, so I would say tiramisu. I would die after a week, but yes, probably.
Another one is every Italian is fashionista.
We usually tend to care about grooming and how you dress, but that doesn't mean you have to dress with all branded things.
Right.
But in Korea, I think people think, okay, if you're all branded from hair to your shoes, then it means you're well dressed. No.
So, a lot of people think of Italian and they associate it with mafia. How prevalent are mafia?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't want to say things that are not true. I have my ideas, but for what I know, yeah, of course there is, but it's kind of silent and normal people don't know much about it. It had historical repercussion in Italy and could be associated with terrorism in the past too. So of course, it's not something you would talk lightly about in Italy.
Another thing about Italians, it could be a misconception, but Italians are very loud.
It depends on personality more than being Italian or another nationality. Same as Koreans, they're very loud Koreans and quiet Koreans.
I remember reading an article which said Italian men are the most sought after men because of their, charming characteristics, being very romantic, the sense of humor and everything. Do you agree?
That's one of the things all Korean ask me. It really depends on the person. Italian people really care about grooming and how they dress, and that's true for men too. So they might be perceived as more attractive because of that.
If you were to choose from Italian men and Korean men, which would you choose?
It depends. On
No. Don't give me it depends.
Like the best looking Korean and best looking Italian.
Just the appearance.
I'm scared to answer this. They will take my passport or they will take my visa. I think these days Italian.
Yeah.
Culturally, Korean people are less used to talk about their emotion or about what they have and feel inside. So they're not able or not good at expressing themselves. And it makes it hard for the other person to understand them. So sometimes I had a hard time. Because in Italy, I think it's the opposite. They really push you and teach you to bring out what you're thinking, what you're feeling is important. So the other person can adapt to you and treat you like you want, right? But here, I feel they would rather be silent than saying what they need or what they feel. So it's kind of hard to build a real connection.
In Italy, do a lot of people listen to K-pop? Well, nowadays a lot of people do. But when you were in your teenage years, did a lot of people listen to K-pop?
Nobody.
Did you know the existence of Korea?
Honestly, I knew very little. Only because in school we kind of learn about what happened during the Korean War. Very superficially. I learned more when I came here about what happened. So we only know about, North Korea and South Korea and the war, but most people don't really know much, or in the past. I don't know these days, maybe it's changing, but yeah, in the past they didn't really know about Korea.
How did you learn about Korea?
Okay, in my city, there is a kind of festival about movies, and all these movies are Asian movies. And they collaborate with Busan, by the way. So one year I just wanted to get some, extra money and something for my resume. I was at the info point. So for me, all movies were free. I could just go there and watch any kind of movie. So I watched all different kind, like Japanese movies, Chinese movies. And then one day, randomly, I watched a Korean movie. And I was like, what is this language? Like the sound, I knew how Chinese sounds and I knew Japanese, but that language I never heard before. So I was very interested. The movie was so nice too. I don't remember which movie it was, to be honest, but I really enjoyed it. So after that, I started to be more interested.
So you started learning about Korea. And then when did you actually decide to visit Korea or move to Korea?
So the first time I did as exchange student when I was doing my bachelor degree. And then I really enjoyed it. I don't know, I felt I want to come back. So after I went back to Italy, I worked for 2 years. And then I just decided, okay, I'm going to do my master in there. So I came back and now I'm still here.
So let's move on to dating.
Okay.
Okay. So while you're going through your master course, were you interested in any other person?
Yeah, I had Korean boyfriends.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I think I met good people overall, but because of our differences, it never really worked.
So what were the major differences?
Communication style, for sure. That's why now I feel it's very important for me, because that was maybe the reason why it didn't work at the time. They were going through something or they were feeling something and I had no idea. So I couldn't really fix it or change my behavior because I didn't know. I think I'm good at understanding what I feel and what I need. But when it comes to Korean people, because our communication style is different, then maybe sometimes I don't catch the signs. So I guess I need to work on that too.
No, I think that should be the first priority, understanding yourself and then try to understand others. But I think in Korea, it works the opposite way. We learn to try to understand others before we try to understand ourselves. How many Korean guys have you dated?
Dated or had a relationship with? That's different.
Relationship with?
Like 3 of them?
3. How many Italian guys have you dated or had a relationship with?
3.
3 for 3.
Right.
All right. So one good thing about Italian men and one bad thing about Italian men which could be the opposite, right? One good thing about Korean men and one bad thing about Korean men.
I think Koreans, when they are in a relationship, they're very good at taking care of the other person, and like they want you to be comfortable, and they give their full attention, and
Sometimes too much, huh?
sometimes too much. I got spoiled too much, I think, these days. So yeah, I think from that point of view, I really liked it, to be honest. But especially at the initial stage, I think they play games more than Italian do. Italian people are just very spontaneous, but Koreans are always I
Calculative.
feel they are more calculative, you're right. So maybe that's good and bad part.
How about Italians?
Yeah, their communication style is more in line with mine, so I guess that's a good point. Bad things. It's been a while, so I have to remember.
Do you want to share anything about dating Korean guys? Something more interesting.
More interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One thing I've noticed, like in Italy, people would just date first and then get to know each other and then become a couple. But here, I had guys ask me to be a couple the first date or the second date. And that was shocking too, actually. I was like, you don't know me. I could be serial killer. How do you know? Like, why do you don't really like me yet because you don't know me, right? But I feel Koreans prefer to be a couple and then get to know each other. And even the words I love you, it's so easy to say I love you here. That was another shock. So never trust the words I love you if they say too early. That's an advice I would give.
Okay.
Yes,
To whoever
please
that wants to
don't.
come to Korea.
They don't mean it. They don't mean it.
You've heard of 자만추?
자만추?
So basically what it means is sleep first and date later.
Okay. Oh.
I asked this to a lot of younger people. And to be honest, I agree. Yeah. Okay, so
I have a different opinion.
Okay,
but
okay.
Women want to do it too, I think. But from my personal experience, when that happened before we knew each other or there was a commitment, then it was not ending up well. Because I feel women start developing feelings and attachment after sex, but for men, it's almost the opposite. They value you more before
Right.
because they have to fight for you and chase you, and that's how they fall in love more, I feel. But if you make it too easy, I know it sounds very bad, but that's
It's
what
true,
I
it's true.
felt. Like then they almost feel like, oh, there's no work for me anymore. So of course, in some cases, I know couples that they did on their first day they met and they are together for 5 years now. So it really depends. But I know many girls who did that and the guy ghosted them.
Okay, this was like 15 years ago. She's one of my best friends. This one day, she comes to work and we were talking and she goes, I fucked the dude last night. And then I was like, no, he fucked you. And she was like, what are you talking about? I fucked him. And then we had a whole debate about that. And then, but now, not always like, oh, I'm going to let you do it and then be the victim. Right? So if you think that way, then I think it could be a healthy thing.
If I don't want to have much to do with that guy, even in the future, then no problem.
What if a guy comes up to you and says, hey, you're pretty, I want to sleep with you?
I mean, if I'm single and yeah, why not?
Okay, cheers. Good luck, guys.
But I wouldn't think seriously of him.
It could start from like a simple physical connection and then it could develop into like an emotional stage.
Maybe. But like in my mind, I start with the thought, that's not serious. So that's why I can do it, because I know I will not get attached to this person because I already decided I don't really care about him from that point of view. That's kind of a coping mechanism in my brain, I guess.
There's this guy that I really highly look up to named Gary Vaynerchuk. He escaped from Belarus to America. He's now a very prominent businessman in America. And he does a lot of these talks in front of a lot of people, right? And he was asked if he ever felt like he was used. And he said, I don't let them. I guess it's the mindset, basically, right? When you first came, was there any like a culture shock for you? What was the biggest thing that you were surprised of?
Like something that in Italy would be like common sense manners, here are not. Like holding the door for the person behind you when you walk inside a building. People spitting on the street. That's
That was actually
crazy.
mentioned. That was actually mentioned before during our interview.
For me, the worst is the people speaking in the streets with the sound.
Making sound when eating.
Like
That's another. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god. It's super rude in Italy.
the chewed food in your mouth is met with air. Tastes better.
Oh, it's like wine.
That's just an excuse. So, do you think of yourself as pre-Korea Soraya and post-Korea Soraya? Has anything changed?
Did for sure.
Okay, so what has changed?
I don't speak any language, I think, anymore. Like my Italian got so much worse because now I only speak with my family and with my friends. So like my formal language is gone. So these days I'm forcing myself to like read books and newspapers in Italian because I'm kind of scared to lose it. And sometimes like words from another language like slip in while I'm talking, even with my parents, and they're like, "What?" Just my brain has, I don't know, this kind of hiccups. And then I feel I learned how to be alone more because since I came here, I've been spending much more time alone than before. And it gave me the chance to learn more about myself and about how to be independent. So I think I grew a lot after coming to Korea, but I didn't change completely. Some parts are still the same, but for sure I am different. And some of my Italian friends, when I came back last time, they told me, "You're not the same. Like you're not the same person." And I've been knowing them for 20 years.
Do you see yourself living in Korea longer?
Until now, I have no plans to leave, to be honest, because I have a very good visa. I can just stay if I want to.
Visa is a big thing in Korea, right? For foreigners?
Yeah, it is. I think I'm very lucky.
I think Korea likes highly educated people.
Right.
Me going to Yonsei having a master's degree, that gave me more points to get the visa as well.
For the people that have never been to Korea or never even heard of Korea, how would you describe? Let's do this country or Korea and Koreans.
For this country, I would say it's very convenient and comfortable, but you need to know Korean a little bit, I think. That will make your life 10, maybe 100 times easier. About Koreans, okay, like for an exchange student coming here, I feel usually they tend to go out among themselves more. But my suggestion is try to get to know more local people
Right,
and try
mingle.
to make friends with them. And that will make your stay in Korea much, much more meaningful and fun. You know, as an exchange student, you just leave at one point. But if you're thinking to stay here and have a career, you need people, you need friends, you need somebody to rely on.
But how hard is it to start a career in Korea?
I think it's hard. Unless you have very specific skills that Korea is looking for, like IT or this kind of areas. But in general, it's not, even for Koreans, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for foreigners, even more.
It's even more difficult, right? Before we end, you probably have a lot of questions towards Korea or Koreans. I want you to ask a question to the viewers and hopefully they will answer.
I was wondering these days about how Koreans perceive having more and more foreigners in their countries, and even foreigners that are thinking to live here forever. So they will kind of try to blend in society. How do they feel about that?
Please answer her question. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate your presence in Korea. I hope you stay for a long time and possibly forever. Meet a nice Korean boy and get married. Yeah. So what do you think about? Okay. So what do you think about international couples?
I have many friends that are married to Korean people and they are Italian.
Okay.
I think all marriages have problems. It doesn't matter the nationality. But yeah, why not? If I meet the right person.
We're same age in Chinese zodiac.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate you being here. I hope you're enjoying it.
I am.
Your time here.
That's why I'm still here.
Okay.
I think. Thank you for
Soraya?
having me.
Let's end it with the cheers. 짠.
짠.